But yeah, and then, of course, when I made the move from terrestrial radio to the internet when nobody really else was doing it yet,
Yes.
then I was traveling 60 miles one way to go to an empty warehouse where it had a T1
Right.
line that could carry the bandwidth, because
Right.
at the time high speed internet was not really available.
No, not at all.
A lot of it was still dial up. There was some internet, but it wasn't available everywhere, and I had to go somewhere that had a T1 line.
If I remember right, we weren't even like stereo sound when that's how
Yeah.
long ago this was. That was like the very birth of Live 365.
It was very early.
And I think we were only able to stream it like 96K mono.
And it was 96K mono. You're absolutely right.
So it just sounded like it was barely better than Blog Talk Radio when we started this thing.
It sounded like AM radio.
It really did. But it had and even that, it didn't have its listeners at first. Remember, we thought that you were going to go to the internet in the first week. You were going to have 500 listeners or whatever.
Right.
And the first week it was like 13.
13 or 20. Yeah, something like that.
I remember looking at the little counter thing on it, and I was like, I remember just thinking, there's got to be more than this listening to Neely.
Yeah, but people were not hip to the streaming radio yet.
Yeah, it's totally different now.
Yeah.
Now people don't listen to the radio.
True.
They only listen to streaming radio now. They don't listen to regular radio. It's crazy. It's just totally flipped.
But I like the fact that we got in on the cusp of very, very early streaming.
Really, dude, it was before we were in so long ago, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be because I do a lot of drinking. But were we not in before Mark Cuban made his money? Because we were using his product, the Yahoo streamer. We were at first we were on what? Yahoo and RealPlayer. RealPlayer, and we also were using the Yahoo because Yahoo was the first one that offered it.
Right.
And then Mark Cuban sold it and bought the Mavs, and onward we go. But I mean, dude, we were doing that, and then we were on Shoutcast for a zillion years, and oh my God, the hassles we used to go through to try and figure out what software to run, and then when I joined it, how many fucking phone services did we use?
Well, we tried out so many of them, and then a thing called Gizmo came along.
Gizmo.
And that was the most stable of what we've tried thus far. And then Skype came along, and that was a game changer.
Yeah, Skype did change things big time for us.
And that was before they became a Microsoft product.
Yeah, way before.
Yeah. So Skype came along, and that was a big game changer. And of course, internet speed, cable internet was becoming better and better.
Yeah.
And so that's history. I mean, but we worked with what we had available at the time. And
dude,
it had its bumps.
It did.
We stuck it out and made it work, but
there were times, and you guys don't know this, but me and Neely know it well. I'm sure this will be in the book. There were times that to get to the 9 o'clock show, Neely and I would do 3 hours of testing.
Yeah, we'd have to test because we had a lot of echo. There was, a lot of feedback.
It was all, okay, now turn that down a little. Nope, too much. Turn it back up a little. Nope, too far. Turn it back down. It was such a pain in the ass.
And then I had to develop which I still use it here, this effects rack.
Yes.
So I could process your audio, because when your audio came over to me, it sounded like a mono audio.
And it was.
And I ran it through an effects rack that would bring it up to studio quality, so it sounded like you and I were the same.
Yeah.
And a lot of people asked, where's Chris? Where does Chris sit?
Right.
Well, he's in Cleveland. It's like,
no way.
How do you guys do that?
Yeah.
They were amazed that you and I were doing a show together, and we were both, remote from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just, how did you guys do that? He sounds like he's right in the studio.
Yeah. Well, it's weird when you listen back to the really old episode. Like I do that every once in a while. I'm sure you do too. We really, I mean, yeah, the sound is not as good as it is today.
Of course.
But considering what we had, that we were a half a step out of dial-up at that point, our sound was pretty good.
I agree.
I mean, honestly, and I don't know, I know I didn't do it, and I don't think you did it. I don't think we took any of the episodes out because they had like too much echo or anything.
No.
I don't think we ever did that. They're out there. They're just, they just don't come up very often because there's not that problem anymore.
Yeah. So it was just a work of passion to make it work. It was a challenge. I think that's what both you and I liked about doing this, is that it was a challenge to make it work, and we wanted to do it better than whatever other streamer was doing it, because there were no co-host shows out there.
No, there weren't.
There was just some guy
playing music. They weren't even talking, really.
Barely would talk, and when they did talk, they really had nothing to say.
Yeah.
And we tried to get into this format to where we actually could co-host a show together.
Yeah. Well, dude, I remember when we first started doing the podcasting, there was us in our field. There was us and Talking Metal. And that's it.
Right.
And I used to have to hard code all of that XML shit. I had to teach myself a computer language to start podcasting.
Right.
And it was all this whole, description equals this, and title equals this, and attachment is here, and, and God forbid you get one little tick wrong on the thing and it would just fail. Remember all that? Or you may not, because I just did all that, but like I would get it all done, and then you had to send what they called a ping to Apple to tell it, like now Apple just updates itself every 10 minutes or something. Back then you had to tell Apple that you published a new episode. So you would go to a website and you would hit a button that just said ping, and then you would type in your XML link, like the link to your XML.
Right.
And then it told you it'll be 24 hours and it'll update. And then you'd wait the 24 hours, and half the time it would work, and the other half you'd get an email that said, your feed failed because of a bad connection. Or, then you had to dig back through the shit and try and figure out what was bad. And, it was a pain in the ass. Dude, even before that, when we were just doing streaming, you used to do the show 6 hours.
Yeah.
Pack up all your bullshit, another hour. Another hour, so it's 4 a.m. Then you would drive to my house, which is completely the opposite way from where you used to live. Instead of going to Akron, you were coming to Twinsburg first to drop tapes off into the mailbox so that I could get the tapes, and that starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, I could run the cassettes into my computer to record the show and then put it up.
Yeah, you'd rip it to MP3 or whatever format you were using.
Real media. That's what it was. It was all real media. And then I would, the goal was to have it done by Monday.
Right.
Because by the time, I had to do 6 hours, really 7 by the time you flip the tapes and start recording again and chop out the gaps and all that other bullshit. By the time you did all that and record it was like 7 or 8 hours. Then the internet was so slow that to upload an 8-hour real media player took about four hours or so, if it didn't stall. It was a real pain in the ass to do this. Now it's simple. Now it's just like, now I literally edit video and have it programmed to release the next day while we're playing music for 20 minutes.
Right.
It's totally, totally different, totally better.
Yeah. Well, that was 22 years ago.
I know, it's a long time.
Plus, 20. I mean, the internet thing was 22 plus years ago, but the ripping to from cassette tape to real media to upload, that was like 25 years ago.
Yeah, long time ago, man. But we did it. We persevered through.